Okay, first question will be sort of public employee discipline civil release, PPP 23-24-1, information fees, public employee civil release, PPP 23-24-2, information fees, public employee civil release, PPP 23-24-3, information fees. And we will do our pledge of allegiance. It will be led by Rowan Charlotte. Thank you for joining us tonight.
I believe one brother in the school, and some of my favorite subjects is the writing and reading taught in the school and reading taught in school. Some of the things I think to do with we talk about how I organize I'm very student. Sure.
Let's see what. Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. You did a great job. Right, so we're moving on to item 8, people of the evening. Okay. We're moving on to roll call. Trustee Long, here. Trustee Long, here. Trustee Boyd,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
all right, and the vote of the meeting agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Anyone second? Second. Sarah, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and approval of minutes from our October 10th to 2023. For everyone, I make a motion to approve.
I'll make this approve minutes.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Laura. All in favor?
Aye.
And public statements related to agenda items. We have statements.
We do on agenda items, so we'll read them during that and one for non-agenda.
Okay. All right, student statement, Burlingame education. Burlingame education. Do you have one? Yeah.
Seem like they're that way.
Okay. So far, yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of our school board, those attending tonight's meeting, Dr. Kane and Dr. Silverson. My name is Adriana Vieira, and I'm a second grade teacher at Hoover. I'm here tonight as a representative of the UVA, and I'd like to share a few items we are encouraged by as we started the 2023-2024 school year. Today we wrapped up our second grade level meeting with our colleagues. As a teacher in Burlingame for over 25 years, to have the opportunity to once again meet with our grade level colleagues is exciting. The meetings allow us to openly discuss both inspirational highlights as well as specific challenges. We each bring strategies, sometimes lessons, and insight unique to ourselves, but that can and should be shared as they pertain to our specific grade level and our year-long goals. Also, in the future weeks, we will begin the upcoming contract negotiations. We are hopeful that our concerns will be heard and that both sides can reach sustainable terms as we did in the last negotiation. Over a year, we have been working on our school theme, Say Something. We strive to help the children learn how to communicate not only with their peers, but with other students across all grade levels. We call these groups of children our school families. Our school families will continue to meet throughout the year at planned activities where they are practicing mindfulness and compassion in a safe, creative environment. Finally, in just a few more days, all sites and children and teachers will be ready for the break. Both teachers and students will be at the end of the first trimester, and I'm sure that working with teachers will be writing their report cards over a very restful Thanksgiving break. I hope that everyone enjoys time with family and friends here, and thank you for your time this evening. Thank you.
And we would also love to hear the communication from today.
Say 1, 2, 3, tested. 1, 2, 3. Good evening, my name is Lauren Sue, CSBA president. And the elected representative of the 87th classified employees in the Burlingame School District. CSBA and district leadership have been in frequent communication this year that can solve problems collaboratively and rather than agreements that benefit classified workers while serving the needs of the district. Most recently, we reached a tentative agreement on the human resource technician position, which will go before our legislative ratification after the end of the month. We are also looking on getting our first contract published and enhanced with members so that they know the rights and benefits in this district. We also hope that management reads the new CFPA contract so that members' rights are known and respected. For now, it is very likely evening that they keep for your time. Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, and moving on to statement of our principal and I well, that's what I done was.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us here. I'm Lisa Booth. I'm the principal at Hoover School. And on Friday, it marks the end of our first trimester. And it's hard to believe that we're already there. Our report cards will be going out on December 1st. I wanted to kind of describe what the end of the first trimester looks like for many of the people in our district. So for students, it means that they're settled into their routines and procedure. You see the TKs just getting out of their cars and down the road, students running into school independently. Everyone seems ready to learn, which is great. What was once an art project at the start of the school year now is a piece of art that's connected to maybe a story that they read or a project that they're doing or a topic that they're going deeper into. Challenging behaviors that come in towards the end of September, kind of the honeymoon is over, have taken a turn and students seem to settle back into school a bit, gotten their new friendships and mostly accepted playground rules, mostly. So those are all things that happen in the first trimester. For teachers, the first trimester, all their assessments are complete. I think they were super thankful this year to have those first few weeks to complete their assessments. They got done very efficiently and were able to learn a lot about their students at the very beginning of school. They're deep into the content at this point, have reached out to specialists, our counselors, our RTI team for additional support for students who need it. They're meeting with district grade level teams, like as John Vera said. They met today, they were talking about standards. Parent conferences are complete, so they've already had a chance to meet one-on-one with all the parents and really make some goals for the school year for children. For the community, in the first trimester, a very busy time for our communities. All of the schools have hosted several family events and parent social, community gatherings, including the BC soiree, which I heard was fantastic. The trimester, to name a few, Roosevelt served up chili, Washington Land Band, Hoover Hawkswalk, Lincoln was Lionhearted, McKinney was spectacular, BIS kicked off their Olympics, and Franklin has a turkey chop this week. As principals, we look forward to your visit. Thank you so much for carving out the time in the next couple of weeks to come and visit the school. It gives us a chance for you to see all the work that's being done to meet some of our students, like Runner and Dion, and you can meet them, and their little sister's there. She'll be a future half in a few years. So we look forward to getting a chance to meet all of our community and see these people that I know that all of you work so hard to support every day. I'm sure you lose a little bit of sleep over this. And I just appreciate all that work and being able to come to the school. I have to say, I think that you are just going to be super proud of what you see. And it's going to hopefully make it all of it. So thank you. Thank you.
I cross copies with our now. It has been a few months. It's been very exciting. We are happy to announce we have officially hired with our TLI teachers, one at BIS. We have been actively recruiting since August. We're excited that we were able to hire him, and he started. His name is Luis Cortez, career credit he has started, and also the teacher that has also been teaching in the past officially went into a credit program. We're very excited she will be continuing with the class. So congratulations to Maestro Adriana Borges too. We are also excited behind me. You will notice. I'm going to back up so you can see them, and I will speak loudly. BIS hosted the second Special Olympics of Northern California, where we hosted 3 school districts, San Mateo, Foster City, and Hillsborough elementary schools, with 8 schools, 14 classes, 127 athletes, 53 peers, and over 450 cheerleaders for Special Olympics events. And next we will travel to San Mateo, Foster City, where they will host us, and then Hillsborough in the spring. But I have to tell you that San Mateo, Foster City, and Hillsborough a heavy lift because it was pretty awesome at BIS. The Trojans showed up in force. All of our principals were here. We had the chief here. We had Mr. Goldman here. We had Vice Mayor here. Don Wilson. We had a fire. We had, it was awesome. Kenai Brooklyn came from San Mateo Police. It was amazing. And just shout out to the Burlingame, Special Olympics, it was amazing. It was a feel-good moment. Shokunagami's band played. It was just kudos to BIS and everybody that did so much. And of course, our teachers, Angie, Paul and Jessica Welch, who did so much work to make sure that it happened, Principal Greg Land and everybody else. So thank you for everybody, BIS, PTA, everybody who did it. It was so amazing. We have a poster of students with fine and spread the word for inclusion. It was amazing. If you get a chance to see it next year, because this will be an annual event, it was beyond great. Today we are many of us in the audience are wearing purple because it was Ruby Bridges walked to school day throughout San Mateo County. That was amazing. McKinley walked from Paloma Park all the way down to the street of Paloma. And if you have not seen the video, it is probably 100 feet walk down the street with her parents. It is pretty awesome. I think Principal Shimali posted that on Instagram later. Shout out to that. I mean, Franklin had just walking down all the trees so you can see there's not so many places to walk. So they were walking, pick up in cars and seeing coming in and walking was great. A lot of
I got to the corner there and disco ball, but that's okay. But it was fun. It was a great time today. And just going forward, at the end of the month, we are reenacting with our safety plan. We are reenacting our emergency test broadcast system through our text messages. So at the end of the month, all of our principals are sending out a message that we are going to try once every trimester to send a text message, every family, every guardian. In our registration, guardian 1 and 2, we get a text message saying it's definitely a test for the text messages. So we did that prior to the pandemic. We're going to do it again. It's when you are registering, it's very easy to flip and hit the wrong number. So when you're communicating with your colleagues and friends or your neighbors, and you hear, "Hey, Marie, I got a text today from the district. Did you get one?" And they say no, you can go into your front office and make sure that we have the right phone number. So if something, we do have to say that there was a shelter in place or something, that you can make sure that you get the message. So you'll see a lot of communication about that. We have started all of our committees, so Fire Committee, Safety Committee, BAPA, all of those fun committees. So if you'd like to join one, we would love to have you. Please work with your principals. Like the principals are trying to fill them up with parents. So if you are interested in joining one, please find out. I know they'd love to hear from you. Yes, it's been busy and we're excited. So everybody's ready for fall break next week. So enjoy your fall break. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. All right, we're moving on to statement of board on records. Super Brown.
I think for me the report is I enjoyed the soiree, the DCP event. Appreciate the support and everyone did in support PPD. Thank you.
Similarly, thank you to the paper, everyone at ECE for the event.
Trustee Young.
On October 14th, Burlingame High School had their centennial celebration. Marla was there too, and it was really great. A lot of our students at VHS and the school and beautiful campus. So that was nice to be there to celebrate that. I've been to two PTA councils in October. They had a training for the treasurers. So really long, did a great job. And I understood everything talking about. And today was another PTA council meeting that did a training on membership toolkit, which all the sites I believe are using now. And that was Sean led that training. And what I'm really impressed with the PTA Council this year is that they're very engaged, very interested in being unified in terms of how they practice, and a lot of good discussion. You know, everybody needs to be on the same. And I also went to the same thing of school board association hosted the PTA show, which talked about recent legislation that's been passed as well in school. So if you haven't heard about that, I'm sure there's a lot of information online about things that affect the school district. They did ask what things, you know, school district might be interested in. I mentioned about funding, how they give up on advocating for funding for schools that are LCFN to base enrollment versus attendance. And they interestingly said that they're a little mixed on that because some districts that are LCFN, if it were based on enrollment, would actually lose money, which I didn't quite understand. So I don't know, I'm not quite sure how it worked out, but at least, you know, that's something we might explore again. And then I was able to attend that wonderful special Olympics event at EIS, which was focused on soccer training. And the kids really had a great time, and we represented some special Olympics when we got in there. And you know, the ball came after the set was so great. Beautiful, the weather was perfect. Just great. The that helped out at EIS. They just did a great job. And I would say the most popular one would be giant soccer balls. We're trying to get the goals and we're just having a great time. Everybody's super excited. It was great. And a team for meeting from other schools,
hey, you know, a couple of nights right there. And one of the police officers in San Mateo, police department, he was mentioning Kennedy and PIF. And so I gave him a tour around campus, couldn't believe it, you know, I mean, it's been a long time since we moved here, and it just looks so amazing, so and I would say that even the people who were from other districts, because we posted those roads and just across the city, they were so impressed with PIS, the facilities, and the cooperation, and just the great vibe that we had here. So I think a lot of them are taking away from what we do here, from the city as well. And I was able to attend, I think it's part of the API family social, and that was really a wonderful event. A lot of families went to just, you know, share food, meet other people, and I met a person who recently moved to Burlingame because of freedom. And somebody in the neighborhood handed him a flyer of the API social, that you should go to this, just to, you know, see what it's about, and he came, and he was just there meeting other families and hear about Burlingame School District, and really excited. I think his child will be TK next year, so I mean, even, you know, it's just a community event. So this, I would say, is very, hopefully they see that up.
Mine is the order, so the next meeting, my time to shout out to the community, to keep in mind, I think the word the harvest that was quite phenomenal, and I realized it meant kind of the balance, so we shout out. I have then I have recently got the videos of okay, so, our last meeting, as you have previously heard out, we had decided to move forward with the, exploration or having first conversation with, some of the personal consultants, and we have and we can start the conversation, this evening about the therapy. And I also attended the directed equity by Garcia and Spiritual Meeting, which is a 5-5 thing. This is really productive meeting. We talked about what we already do, and I actually made notes in the government, but speaking of data that we have in our really consistent in our action. We talked about, we all have a copy of the book, why all the Black kids sitting together and we have data, and put together. Together, I don't need to follow the street for that, but I think they're planning on the road for us to keep up with everything. And I attended the API meeting with Florence as well. It was really well attended, and she did well. Put a lot of efforts to make a really wonderful meeting for the community. And we did all that. Well, she also had family, didn't get the birthday party, a really great community part of that. I'm just thinking of your conversation. Great to see kids running around and making connections to public school. I had lunch at Mariachi with both business, who read one of our resolutions last month. We got pizza and Dr. Silversmith and I had a nice lunch with them, and it was all the things that they loved and challenges that they experienced from their razor and conversation. So it was great, and we had some shit talk for it, and everything from what students started to how to make lunch easier, it's just really very good. I also wanted to just mention that the day after Halloween, there was professional development that was absolutely wonderful, and I had it in my door that day, and so I am looking to be there as well. And the teachers you should chime in here, but there were science reading seminars, there were English language development seminars, there was science curriculum coaching, math coaching. I mean, it was a really wonderful day. And I felt with the teacher, it was really, I loved sitting in on science and reading. Really well put together. And we all have some ups and downs later, but I'm really looking forward to having some good weekend. And I think it's one of the all okay, we now to I agree with you. I think the agenda is a way to consolidate many items, reviewed by the board, reviewed changes. These items often require approval but do not need discussion. Also, these review the items in advance of the board meeting. Members of the board, staff, or public are able to request specific items to be discussed and removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda. The superintendent staff recommends approval of all consent items. Movement of minutes suggested consent items is appropriate at this time.
Well, we can look to go through the consent agenda.
And very reference.
Second.
Thank you guys, all in favor? And that is the resolution number 2023-24, Native American people.
Good evening, parents, good evening, scholars, great to see all the wonderful faces. Good evening, Dr. Susan, President Led, Board of Trustees. At DSD, we honor and we value diversity. We also have a thing called Chapter, and diversity in we talk about Jedi. In November, we honor. We want to bring forward this resolution because we have a resolution that we want to bring forward to honor the diversity, the different cultures within the Native American people, as well as the contributions that they have made. So therefore, we want to ask the board of trustees to approve the resolution.
Thank you,
Thank you. This is the Board of Education resolution number 2023-24-15, Native American Heritage Month. Whereas Native Americans, the traditional inhabitants of land that now constitutes the United States, and whereas Native Americans have traditionally exhibited respect for the finite natural resources through reverence to the earth, and whereas Native Americans have made distinct and important contributions to the state of California, United States, and the rest of the world in many fields, including agriculture, medicine, music, language, and arts. And whereas Native Americans deserve to be recognized for their individual contributions to the state of California and the United States as local and national leaders, artists, athletes, and scholars. And whereas November is a time when many Americans commemorate a special time in the history of the United States, when Native Americans and English settlers celebrated the bounty of their harvest and the promise of new infants. Now therefore be it resolved that the Burlingame School Districts encourages all commemorating Native American Heritage Month with appropriate and special activities to recognize the significant contributions that Native Americans have made in helping our nation achieve greatness.
Thank you. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve today's resolution?
All of the approved,
Thank you, Laurie. Thank you, Dan. All in favor? And moving on to 17, music presentation.
We bring the blood.
We have to be able to have it, oh, thankful to go all the way to the.
My name is Doug Ryan, I'm one of the music teachers here in the district. And these are some third graders from Roosevelt School, and they are students of Allison Fields and Megan Moran right over there. And they're going to play a song for you called Hush Little Devil. Ready? Yes. Yeah. One, in other words, one boat my hands called Jingle Bells. Trying to dance through the snow. Ready?
Thank you. Thank you, third grade parents, for bringing the announcement. That was amazing. Fun. Thank you, Roosevelt Bears.
Thank you for having us evening. We'd like to do a little presentation of our wonderful music program we have with new students. My name is John Kular, the state choir here at the National Band.
And for me, Kendall Adams, I teach general music, choir, and band in Washington, Preston.
So Burlingame's history in music education is actually goes back over 100 years. Sorry, I put you that further.
You just let me know.
Okay, thanks. So the Burlingame School District is a proud tradition supporting music education in our school, enriching the lives of students and our community through active performing arts. And a fun fact, BSD is one of the largest, the longest continuously run funded music program in the state of California, dating back over 100 years. So we have some pictures for you that we thought would be really neat to watch. These are from the school on Howard, and these are hung up in Washington. It's a picture from a while ago. And the last one, we really like because it has a plaque in the corner. You can see this says Howard Avenue, Burlingame. So 1934. So that was the 50s.
So a lot of us understand this, but I think it's going to be said, why music education, why are we here, why are we support it? And first and foremost, music is a core subject in the state of California, as well as at the national level, following every student's stage in 2015. One of the lines from that is art is part of a well-rounded education. Again, most of us understand it, but it's going to be said, art education is not enrichment, it is a core subject. And as music teachers, we do teach music, but first and foremost, we teach people. We're imparting a variety of life skills, including self-worth, resilience, work ethic, compassion, leadership, collaboration, relevance that are happening through the vehicle of music, where we're working to help students find and explore their creative voice and develop a lifelong love for music and arts and whatever form that means for them. And even though music education in and of itself is valuable, it also still has a lot of benefits to other content areas. It helps with language and cognitive development, math skills, civic awareness, emotional growth, social skills, and all of these things directly benefit other curriculum areas. So a student or a child who's involved in music education is actively seeing improvements in their other academic settings as well as in their life, the person growing and developing. So to just briefly take a look at these standards. The California Visual Performing Arts Standards have 11 anchor standards under music education, and they're grouped into 4 different categories. The first of which is centered around creating, which has to do with how we generate and refine and complete work. The second one has to do with performance, from the process of selecting repertoire, the analysis, the preparation of it, all the way to the performance and the conversation about what meaning we're attempting to convey through that performance. And then the third one has to do with responding, on the next slide. And how are we responding to music in the art? How are we analyzing it? How are we interpreting it? What are we evaluating in terms of that art in itself, as well as its application and meaning to a broader context? And then the last one, I think really standard 10 and 11, has to do with connecting. How are we relating our personal knowledge and our experiences to this artistic experience? How are we synthesizing that knowledge into something that we're contributing to society or to our communities? So, as an overview of music education, now let's talk about what music ed looks like in Burlingame School District. So, we have a breakdown here on this next slide of what content areas students are receiving. So, in grades TK, K1, and 2, they receive what we call classroom music. In 3rd grade, as we just saw, they learn play ukulele. In 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, so 5 grades, they receive choral education. Same 5 grades, they receive concert band education. And then in middle school, grades 6, 7, 8, they have the opportunity to be a part of the jazz band. So briefly break down some of these content areas. On the next slide, you'll see something called classroom music education, which is our curriculum model for TK through 2nd grade. Students receive 30 minutes of instruction per week by class, and this curriculum model is very explorative, focused on laying the foundations for future creative learning. Basically, they're experiencing and developing an appreciation for what music is. They're immersing themselves into it and figuring out what that means to them. Common learning modalities in classroom music include singing, moving, playing instruments, percussion, listening, reading, writing, drawing, improvising. They're covering a wide array of things in the first couple of years that are exposed to an immersion. As you saw in 3rd grade, on the next slide, we have ukulele, which is a relatively new curriculum. Students receive 30 minutes of instruction per week by class, same as class and music. And as students are getting the third grade, they're developing more greater fine motor skills, if that makes sense. They're able to develop more instruments, they're developing increased musical independence. So they're taking that next step in terms of what they can do as an individual, as what they can do in a context, and later the foundation for when they can then get on other instruments and work into grade and then through middle school. Their modalities very similar to music, singing, listening, reading, starting to accompany themselves, as you heard there with that performance, they're singing while accompanying themselves on an instrument. They're working as an ensemble too, in terms of rehearsing, again, another three ensemble skills that are being built before they get to fourth grade in middle school. And all that can be supplemented with classroom music curriculum as well. So they're thinking, they're working on, playing instruments and other stuff in addition to the work they're doing on that instrument. And then we were going to have a ukulele showcase, which we did early because we had so many children to excel. So that took place. Again, that was the Roosevelt students and the director of Doug Simon playing Hot for the Baby. So round of applause.
With our core music education, it's a curricular class for all fifth and fourth grade students, and I love that everybody in our students wants to speak for 30 minutes. They're paired usually in classes of two, and we always have to meet the accompanist for piano. At the EIS, that turns into an elective class with fifth and eighth grade students, daily instruction for about 44 minutes. And the piano characters by that. Some overarching learning goals that we have. Of course, we go over the fundamental skills of vocal technique and instrument knowledge. And the content skills, all of our students are learning how to read and write music. They're learning about the history and the culture of everything that they sing and perform. And more in a collaborative or a creative standpoint, they're learning about being in a diverse, dynamic team, increasing empathy, developing that confidence, and of course, composition. So for a little quote snapshot for you today, this is a small ensemble from our BIS accent, the zero period flag. And I want to invite them to come on down. And thank you for being here for us today. We're going to do a short sample of a song we've been working on called Christmas to be Christmas. That's going to take that. And this is a mix group of 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students that are auditioning only before school. Just a little snapshot of a little over 180 students that we had from HPIS. We do a real quick, switch to this one.
Hi, my name is Shoka Nagami, and I am the dance teacher here at the Mariachi. I work in 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. So in the instrumental side of things, it reflects a lot based on the choral situation. So in elementary school, dance is an elective option. They get the weekly pull-out lessons that happen by instrument groups, so they get that specialized instruction, and in 30-minute increments. And then every week they have 0 period band where they can rehearse as an ensemble. At PIS, what that looks like is 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. They have 44-ish minute classes every single day, and they can choose to have bands, traditional concert bands, or they can opt for jazz bands. And the overarching learning goals reflect very similarly to the choir music education learning goals as well. Yes. All right, so we are going to make some beautiful things.
I just
This song can be counted off by Clara Monson and Ashley Putnam, who are the creators of this amazing third from what is an instrumental program.
Squeaks are life. I'm coming your way. Right there.
Yep.
One, two, 1, 2, ready, go.
Stand up. Think about. And so what grade are you in? So these graders are gonna fun and flower into eaters like these, and they're gonna be there too. From the piece that we're gonna play this concert, it's called Rampage, but it's like the B session, the quiet side. All right, let's do this. Okay. Okay, quick forward. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Before you leave, can I just say thank you? Thank you.
Come on up.
We might have to like bring some additional music opportunities that we offer at BIS. You guys didn't know you were gonna get front row seat, huh? The access part of the chipper, there was a family that was my additional only part that we offer as well through the support of BCE, 1 weekly 0 period. We also have a community jazz grant with 3 weekly 0 periods. And then we offer a beginning and advanced workers group, which is the 1 weekly 0 period. You're gonna be fine, this happens.
Fine. Now, you want to sit down?
You can share from the zone.
You got it? You're going to come chairs, right? Okay. It's really something really well.
One thing that we like to highlight for the board tonight is this is our newest compound of the VRS. Last year we had 9 students showing up in the morning on Tuesday, and this year we had 32 students showing up. So these are our advanced players, and I'm gonna go play with them, and I'm just gonna do that. So our next one is a little sampling. You'll know this.
And that's the last meeting that we had for 23, and one more round of 25.
I'll come into your chair.
All right, let's go for it. So, we talked about how our program is currently what it looks like now. Oh, we need to hit the button. Oops. It's the learning. You can do items and finance, but the clicker is beyond this. So we talked about what our program currently looks like. Now we can take a second and talk about how that program has changed, expanded, and grown over the past couple of years. In elementary, we've experienced a number of structural changes that have increased the size of our program in wonderful ways. We've seen the TK class reduced by over the past couple of years, starting with this one and then preschool. Then now this year we have TK at all 6, including Washington Best 2. So now we have 7 additional classroom music sections that we're working with. We had the pilot of our ukulele program a couple years ago, which shifted 3rd grade instruction from pairs of classes that was prior, like 4th and 5th grade, to individual class instruction, which effectively doubled the amount of classroom music instruction or ukulele instruction we have for that grade. And we've also had some great success over the past 2 years conducting targeted outreach for instrumental science, which we'll talk about in a second in more detail. But that has seen an increase in our instrumental program at the elementary level of about 29% over the past 2 years, which is wonderful. So on the next slide, we'll take a second and talk about that targeted outreach. So it's been in collaboration with the district office, and the music team has spent the past 2 years implementing this outreach, which is aimed at disproportionately representing students in our 4th and 5th grade instrumental program, because that's the one of the elected piece of the elementary curriculum. In classroom music, ukulele, and choir, every student is getting it, but when it gets to 4th and 5th grade, there's that opportunity to elect some sort of program for just the second time in a week. So we conducted that outreach, and in 2023, we had a significant increase from 2%. This year, we had another 7%. So looking at that first year coming out of the pandemic, when we resumed live instruction, we had 407 students all across the district. This year, our 5th, 4th, and 5th graders across the district are 557. Thank you. Talk about the school.
And this wonderful growth comes up to BIS as well. Over the past couple of years, we've seen the increase in the interest in band choir and also the performing arts in BIS. The growth in our program in both BIS and the K high schools outpaces our current staffing model in our section topic, which we'll show you on that next slide. We're often facing tough choices of who to offer music to or who not to offer music to, depending on who we can absorb into our classes, because we're only 2 people that we're there. We're hoping with the possibility of perhaps more staff or something we could alleviate some of that stress on the band and choir program by offering more sections of those programs, but also offering a more diverse program at BIS. So it could be guitar, it could be bringing orchestra into the school day. So that would put less pressure on band and choir being only to sign up classes that are at BIS.
All right, so we got some pretty awesome numbers for kiddos that sign up. So the way it works on our school is the kiddos can choose like their first choice, second choice, third choice. I think it goes all the way down to like 5 or 6 choices. So for this current school year, so these numbers are from last year in March. We had 195 current 6th graders say in 5th grade that they wanted to be in fair, which was awesome. They had their first and second choice, 85 7th graders and 48 8th graders. So these are like more kids than I even have. So like more kids that were in band, we're trying to get into band, which was super cool. However, because I'm only one type person, and because I only have one room, I can only fit so many people in that classroom. I currently have, right now, we have 4 sections of 6th grade band, which is insane, because me and John are co-teaching, a class of 60 kids, actually. So we have 4 sections in 6th grade, and that's 143 kids. So, 27% of those students who wanted to be a band, unfortunately, had to be turned away. So there's so much, there were only 2 people. For 7th grade, we had to turn away, unfortunately, 15% of those numbers, and for 8th grade, it's about 17%. In 8th grade, they flood out to more different opportunities, so it's mainly 6th grade that we end up seeing a lot of 6th grade, unfortunately, turning away just because we're only 2 people. And then jazz band is by audition, so we don't have too much of that happening.
So very similar to the experience of painting choir. This year we changed the period of choir to band because of the high interest in the 6th grade level. So that was a drop in our 8th grade. But you can see in 6th grade, in the perfect world, we can accommodate all students, right? So if we can get close, it's wonderful. In our 7th grade, we had 180 per and 1 and 2 signups, but with a cap of 40 in every class, we had to turn away about 55% of the students who wanted to take that core program. In the 8th grade, we reduced ourselves to 1 section this year, so that unfortunately we were not able to accommodate the 35% of the students who like to take that program. What is this all mean going forward?
So on this last slide, as we bring all these pieces together, we talked about what the program looks like, how we experience this growth. Let's wrap up with what it needs going forward. What are our dreams? What are our goals? What is the theme and why are we here? I think first and foremost, it's important to say that these program expansion and what we've seen today exemplify the district and community that supports students comprehensive education. Very important. But it doesn't change the fact that we have a very good problem. It's a good problem, but still a problem of this growth that is eclipsing the current staffing model that we have. So as we increase the amount of instructional sections at the elementary schools, coupled with the high volume of student interest in EIS, in order to maintain the quality of this program, we've been able to foster with this incredible growth. We're looking at a need of a 1.0 or 1.95 FTE staffing expansion at the elementary level and a 1.0 FTE for the middle school. If we want to maintain this growth, we can't do that, and we're looking, like we talked about some of the data with EIS, or having different students away, students who have spent in elementary school 6 or 5 or 6 years if they've done PK. 6 or 7 years, PK again, but there we go, math. Eventually 7 years developing this love for music, and then I get to the middle school and then they're suddenly turned away. We're doing those students a disservice. So we're grateful for you for listening to what we share. We're grateful for the opportunity to share the student voice. All the students are really excited about their parents, and we hope to consider everything that we share. We're also happy to take questions if that's something we can do.
Well, first of all, thank you, that was such a great presentation.
Sorry.
You still have time?
You do.
Why did we not share that watching my kids listen to the programs was one of the most important things that I had parents in respect. Starting around in kindergarten, happening, and you had the performances, and it's just adorable kindergarten, you come to these performances every year, and really experience how the curriculum goes and how it's really one song is so that we need to and
It's the one month of time. We talk about how to use around
Absolutely. The way we approach it, you saw when we were talking about how we run an elementary, we run the sections. PK vector, the growth of PK is not to use that section to create medical program, double our grade section. So we look at it on a grid of a single full-time teacher can teach X amount of sections. It's only about 38 for elementary, 8 per day, 6 on Tuesdays with those for dismissal. So we chart out a map of the program at the elementary level offered with the consistent part of the program, TK group, including 500 students, all the music, and then we factor in the growth of the instrumental program as we've seen, and that number is coming out to about 44 to 60 sections that are uncovered or read what we have right now, because we don't turn students away our capability increase. We have students or teachers that are over capacities, teachers that are teaching 10, 11 sections a day. Or, teaching for recess, so that we're not turning kids away for those programs, which is also not sustainable. We always see some of our staff multiple times over the past couple of years they fall, and that's become kind of in recover either health or physically in terms of trying to go down with students. So if we look at it in terms of sections, and that goes relative to it.
Yeah, it's for middle school. We only have those 2 classrooms over there and none are those 2 people. But if we were to have another person up here at the IS, they could have occupied one of the other classrooms and just teach full 6 periods of perhaps music exploratives or guitar, something that isn't just choir or band, but another opportunity where they can have that musical outlet here at the IS. It could just be a 6th period elective or meal. We were talking about possibilities at a meeting a month ago, but yeah, there is possibility.
The important thing to say, as Coco brought up, is right now we're talking about maintaining this program and sort of the philosophy. We unfortunately aren't even at the point where we can start to talk about how we can innovate, how we can diversify, what new stuff can we create, because we have, again, a problem, but a very good problem of trying to accommodate what we've already got. We've had some conversations with the district about what cool new things can we do, but it's hard to get to the cool new things when we're treading water to accommodate. So
the how is 48 or flag primarily enforcement?
at the elementary level and at the middle school, if you're coming up, but we are one of the 2 districts in the area that does not offer an instrument to every student. We have a limited inventory that is PK, that is the first foundation for being at the elementary level, which gets started a little later because it's an elective period with an enrollment time frame. We often have some students that we are unable to find an instrument with. We, again, it's on the basis of need, and we sort of go down the list, and if there are children who are not able to provide an instrument on their own, and we don't have them to give them, we often will fall into the unfortunate circumstance of giving them a cheap drum pad and a pair of drumsticks, so they can be a part of a percussion class, which, yes, is still a part of it, but also a program with classes of instruments that are all fully staffed out with students, and then a 20-something percussion class for all the quote-unquote leftover students who we want to provide instruments with this service. So we have instruments, but we are not at the point where we can provide every student who wants to be a part of the program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just real quick for history, discovery is switched ukulele during COVID because the wonderful music team came and said, we can't stop music. And I just want to give a shout out to all the music team, but at that point, me too, it was moving forward saying, we can't stop this. And so they went from reporters and submitted on a dime, saying, we try to really, so they came up with masks that had holes. This was fine. I mean, this team is phenomenal and would not give up. Thought of every way to just be 20 feet out and do instrumental. We're arguing with me about protocol. So, and I also want to say when we talk about the percentages going up, this all started because of a gentleman. And saying who was not at the table in our music program, because this is a board meeting and the board said, okay, let's plan to change it. So
I just, again, like, the other reports matter, and I think that next year, I can't wait to see what's happening. The one thing I'm gonna say with this from tonight, there was no books. Thank you, this was phenomenal and great, and, you know, you're right, we got a whole palette of instruments, but it's never enough. So how do we?
We're incredibly grateful for, whatever we can get.
But
That allows us to, but again, we're seeing that growth, which is a very good problem. We need to try to.
things that I never thought about, that you guys continue to ask for, the numbers, like, items we have.
Yeah.
In different objects, so I think it's items that all of you come forward, and I know I'm probably just on that, but I just thank you for everything that you do forward, and continue to advocate for, so that each and every student that wants to do something can, and we need to.
And I want to comment about the sometime old here, and I have old kids, so I have my last kid, senior right now at VHF. She started out learning clarinet from right here at Roosevelt in fourth grade. Never took private lessons, only took those lessons to school here and then the IS, and then this is my mother now for Burlingame High School, and she's also the president of the band. So she is very involved in music there, and you know, everybody who plays an instrument in any of those different ensembles they have there is an marching band, you have to use marching band. So that's also a really great experience. So all that is related to what she started doing here in fourth grade. So it's been a very important part of her life, and just provided all kinds of other experiences in leadership and different experiences, and being around students who you might not necessarily be around academically, you know, math classes and things like that. So it's really a wonderful opportunity. And I haven't finished this book, but I'm starting to read this book called The Brain on Art, and it's written by, I think it's Professor John Hopkins. They have a pretty robust music, like neurological effects of music, and it's just really amazing. So I think it's indisputable that it's a great benefit to development.
I'm glad you said that, because it's important to realize that our student music education doesn't stop when they leave us in 8th grade. We're giving them a rigorous up to 10-year arts education from TK 8th grade, which is putting them in a position to successfully and competitively participate in rigorous music programs. That's something we should be proud of.
So we have students converted their students here, never did private, and going to like, you know, universities with very prestigious programs, and all this through the public school music programs. So we can
We aren't able to respond to the questions that are on. You know, we can follow up with you. So the first person is Robert Simmons.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Mr. Frank. I am in awe of our music teachers. I'm so grateful for your talent and your dedication to our students. And I would like to take this opportunity to remind you all that there are other standards for the arts. There are theater standards, there are dance standards, and there are visual arts standards as well. And I think we are depriving our students of full arts education and that art extension. I would like to say that Renee and I are currently in this production with we're currently in this production. Is it okay? In this production with the 5 types of players, there's several students who are here tonight are also part of. Renee is going to be a participant, and I'm on stage. And after Sunday's performance, we had a talk back. And I wish you could have been here to hear one of the audience members ask the students what they had learned from this experience. And some of your faces flashed before my eyes when I was speaking to you. One boy said that he learned patience from reading this production. A girl said that that she learned that we all have our unique talents. And my favorite was this girl who said that she learned that to let people be who they are. And so that's social emotional learning, that is a growth mindset. And I would like to make a plea that the arts are essential and that we need to have a more comprehensive art program in our school district. And I'm advocating for that. I'm committed to make that happen. You know, Joe Bolis said that when students struggle in math, their minds grow. And when I watched a student collaborate to walk through their fear and step on stage and perform a song or a dance and tell a story, I saw their hearts grow. And I want my students to grow, both their minds and their hearts grow, and I'm sure that we all want that. And I want to make that happen, and I am committed to making that happen, and I would like us to work together to make that happen here at Burlingame School District. Thank you.
And oh yeah. Yes, that is.
Hi, my name is Olivia. I am a music chair at UIS. I also have children of Pied Piper Show, the vocal director of Pied Piper Show. I am all on board as far as performing arts, dance, theater, all of it. My question is, obviously we need more staff. We also need more time in the day. So right now we have 0 period, we're going to set up early. I'm wondering what, you know, like hiring somebody from 0 period to 2 o'clock, and then what happens like with the 2:30 to 5? Like how can we grow on the other side of the school day once the person comes in?
And you can decide, but we about. Anyway.
I'm in favor. I just really enjoyed that performance so much. Thank you. I had to say, BCE fully funds the music program. This is just such an example of how it's more fun when we can do more. It segues so nicely into our work on the parcel tax that we've all been working on super hard, and working on getting funding and growing the BCE grant. Thank you all for all the work you do. Thank you all for all the work you do. We're just so appreciative. And I hope we can hire a lot more music teachers and art teachers because we are so much.
Thank you, Nan. Okay, that was really wonderful. Thank you for spending on it. All right, thank you very much.
Oh.
We're here. Thank you. And thank you for all right, and we are now moving on to the FA. That's one of the Pennsylvania University and
Yeah, this is very long, this is thinking, this data, I just want to echo what Dr. Smith had stated earlier. JEDI is incredibly important to us, and we're always finding ways to increase access and participation. So we want to share data with us.
Thank you, Mike. First of all, I'd like to say that it's a back follow, but I really want to talk about the data. And the music department did show some data for both our elementary and middle schools. Some of it will be a little redundant, so I'll kind of breeze through some of the things here. So they're definitely there and it's this first. Okay, so the objective, I thought this is kind of objective for the last couple of years with this initiative, and basically I think mentioned there, increasing access for each and every one of our students and
helping us better understand what's making opportunity gaps or access issues or barriers to entry. So this is kind of a repeat of what the music team outlines for us here. So I won't really go into this in detail, but essentially, from TK through 5th grade, all students have access to 30 minutes of music. And then from 4th grade on, they have an option to opt into elective. So this is data for the whole district. This is all students that are reportable in our district. This demographic data was presented during the last board meeting. But I always like to play with the data and put the to visualize it. So this is more of a trend line, or which would be trend line. Just to create a baseline for us as we look at the data. So this is a breakdown of the percentages of our different distributors for this particular academic year. In the leftmost column, what the percentages there of the districts, we have our district percentages for each student group. And the idea here is as we go towards the right, that our columns there are close to what the district percentage is, so that we are properly representing all of our students in these programs. So just a couple of potential opportunity gaps to point out here. We're a little underrepresented by the students with disabilities and important to the band. And that is something we've been working on with our initiative here. We see 2 or more races. There's a pretty good gap in percentages there. One thing I would like to add is that for that, the category of 2 or more is up by about 5% this year. So there's something to consider there. Any questions about this?
Yeah, so with the students with disabilities who are in grade and there's a part of the reason why they don't go before school and most as you're qualified to get to school, and it's kind of stuck, you can't ask about earlier. So the parents earlier and that consider, whereas often in middle school we come on to take a bus. Yes, on their own, so that was when you're in the office.
Yeah, and to add to that, that's really the point. At EIS, most of the classes that we offer are during student day, so it's really right there, as opposed to the elementary, our elective, which is 0 period and is 0 period in the school. There is some freshman during the day, but absolutely the band rehearsals will happen.
This is a question with respect to the English learner. Excuse me, I find those statistics actually a little low. I was hoping they'd be higher. Because I think music has a way kind of breaks the language barrier. But what I don't know is the numerator denominator that allow you to arrive at those percentages for any category, particularly English learners. In your opinion, are those percentages probably should they be higher, be lower?
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. I forgot to mention that. Absolutely, we would love to see that be higher in all categories for bands as well as choir. Absolutely. And part of what we've been working on is translating our outreach efforts and providing information in terms of languages so that they understand the opportunity that's presented to us.
Yeah, and maybe it's a lot of children getting classified by the time they finish developing local grade, right? So then that's why we go down, but still even so, 4th, 5th is low, or it just
So these are, some trend lines here, across the last three years. For just, this is just for fourth and fifth grade instrumental music and band. And I'll point out some things, both here and on the last slide, that you can see, our, way in which students sort of, how that has student participation. We have increased and partly due to our initiative here, with fourth, fifth grade instrumental bands, as we've seen an increase, especially in that first year of outreach in students, who are socioeconomically disadvantaged, participating, in fourth, fifth grade band. I'll point out a couple more things for this to the end too, but we've also seen an increase in the Latinx student participation. So this next one is sixth to eighth grade instrumental or band participation. So a couple things to point out. There were fewer than 10 students to report out for the 2 or more races in 2021 and 2022, and in 2022, and 2022 and 2023, sorry, and as well as students with disabilities in 2022 and 2023. And part of that could be how the data is reported out in the data systems, but we don't report out any students less than 10 students, with 10 students. So here again, we notice an increase in Latinx participation as well as socioeconomic disadvantage, and a decline in some other categories such as weight and mission. And the weight just 1 year, and then stick back up for us. So this next one is fire participation. This one's a little bit scattered. We noticed a decline in most categories over the last year, and part of that, and I'll touch on this again on the next slide. Part of that is what the touched on in the previous presentation, which is that they did have to make a tough choice of eliminating required course in favor of a richer band course due to high demand in both programs. And again, there are fewer than 10 students to report out with student disabilities in 2021. So this is the trend graph for all 6 programs. For all 3 kind of programs and great extents here. So the top line there is fourth fifth grade band. This one was probably the most affected by the COVID pandemic, and this is learning in particular. And as was mentioned before, playing with masks with a hole in it, or playing having to play outside. And so there are huge impacts. There you can see from over 600 students participating to just under 400 in the course of the year. And then in green, in the middle there, you have sixth grade band. You notice that that was impacted as well, but not quite as much. And again, with the sixth grade choir that we find down there, you'll notice a steady increase there, and then just in the last year, due to having a class period, there was a bit of a down. I do want to point out, it's on the next slide, I do want to point this out now while we're looking at our numbers have recovered quite nicely, at post-pandemic. So you can see that we're almost back to pre-pandemic levels in both bands, the fourth and fifth grade and sixth to eighth grade. And as I mentioned earlier, there's been a steady increase in participation. Okay, so takeaways and some next steps. Again, due to our outreach efforts, there has been an increase in participation in both the instrumental for socioeconomically disadvantaged students learning English as an additional language, and students with disabilities. The enrollment numbers for this year, for 4th and 5th grade, instrumental music and 6th grade band are almost at pre-pandemic levels, as just mentioned. So the next step, so first of all, we want to, the reason we made this statement to the trustees is that we want to continue to invest in providing opportunities for students that participate in music electives. And that includes, as we discussed before, purchasing more instruments for students who are not able to rent by their own. And as mentioned before, we have a big purchase this year of new instruments that we're able to allow students. And then again, robust outreach to families, particularly in languages. Before and after school musical opportunities, in particular for students learning English as an additional language and socioeconomically disadvantaged students. And then in addition, this will be in the next presentation, but it's my Mariachi program. And then finally, the district has been meeting with our various educational partners to expand, or to think about expanding offerings for music electives outside of the traditional band player, which I know the music department is fun prior to this. But some ideas that we've been throwing around with building music for the recording studio, that can be used for all sorts of things, offering orchestra, and also got the system which compares there. And as well as integrating music related career technical education opportunities and courses.
What happens now if these students, mentioned like I was interested in pharmacy, but I'm not able to do what do you do now? You don't have enough of those instruments, maybe not.
Yeah, so this year I believe we were able to purchase enough to cover everybody. We did a pretty large purchase. But part of that problem is that instruments have a shelf life. It's just like anything else that issues over time they do break down. So part of the way we look at that is we need teachers are able to fix and clean and service the instruments themselves. I know that if not, we can send out to various vendors to work on for us. Part of one of the issues we had in the past was on the floor, but finding things with thumb pads and things like that. But we're really trying not to do that. A better option, in cases we really don't have enough, would be if someone wants to come along with a truck, for example. So sometimes we have to do that, to last for second place,
Mr. Long, although I got very close to meeting with every student and some of this year, I did not get every student requested that we were not able to do. And then even with, we have very good relations with our community. I'm very thankful. If anybody's out there that wants to give a donation, please contact us. Our community is very gracious. We often get donations and we take them. We have a very good relationship with the local music store who helps us. Erin.
Yeah, so
yes,
we work with hers, but also we work with other partners such as school, music.
Whole Mansion, we have a great relationship. Whole Mansion who called us and they was wonderful instruments we refurbish them, and a lot of our families when they have graduating seniors festival, they want to give their children instruments over. So people do donate instruments often and take them and have us clean and refurbish it. But we still don't have the need. If you build it, they will come. We gave you all a mission 2 years ago, and they have come. We need more.
When we talk about maintaining instruments, I assume the students do some of that as part of the learning, but basically it sounds like at the end it's just being installing or maintaining.
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, as much as possible, you know, obviously there's, you know, there's those situations where initially, you know, repair, and needs to be retired. But typically, yeah, they're able to do minor repairs, and putting it in the things that store. That was.
Right, and then we're moving on to having seen D, Burlingame, Mariachi. Good evening, students, my name is Robert Smith and Burlingame Community. My name is Jean Gonzalez and I am the engagement coordinator for the community. I'm here to talk to you tonight about bringing a mariachi program to Burlingame. So the goal would be to work toward closing the opportunity gap and also to expand access to music. As we saw, we can never have enough access for our students, so definitely increasing that would be the overall goal. This program would directly support our LCAP goals, which we can work through. Specifically goal number 3, which is to increase performance levels of English language learners, and goal number 4, which is to increase performance levels of socioeconomically disadvantaged students. So the program will be on Tuesdays from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Starting in January. We would pilot it from January to June this year. It would be about 15 minutes to start from grades 3 to 7. We thought that would be good because it's kind of a nice intro before promoting start offering it. The program would be open to all students, but first applications would be sent out to students who are learning English as an additional language, who are eligible for the free reduced lunch program, and who may be done the cost of this. So the program would look different for parents versus students, so the parents would participate as well. For the students, it would be every Tuesday from 5 to 8. The first hour would be dinner and tutoring. The second hour would entail groups of students being split. And so, let's say, for instance, group A starts with voice lessons, and group B would receive instrument instruction. And the last hour, the groups would switch. So, group A would receive instrument instruction while group B receive voice lesson. The program from the parent perspective would be every other Tuesday, and it would be from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. with the first hour being dinner and the second, the second hour and a half being parent education offered by either the staff or partners. The other districts who have done this mentioned that the amount of student attendance that they saw at the change in student attendance, it made a big difference for students feeling a sense of belonging in the school and within the district, especially within the district and not just going to the school, giving students opportunities to network with other students and other schools has been beneficial for them. And again, I'll just list the target audience, which I already listed our student categories. Currently, our students, we have about 22% of our community who's currently qualified in one of those positions. So qualified for so the students who are in the areas, we don't have people who's correct. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it can fall into one of the categories. We don't necessarily have to follow all of them. So this is the financial impact of the program. The engagement goal, it is to determine, because it depends on which contractors, which vendors we go with. A lot of them do partnership work with no cost, but it's, when you work for 3 years, and then funds are used to know. And so, the community outreach has already began, so very quick again, but, it would continue, with an information night, which we might have been reference would actually come through performance, but to like see the different instruments, talk to the parents about what that would look like. And then hopefully the first session will be in January, and I'm to be scheduled and doing a speech. Followed by a progress check and reflection of the community on this about and how we do that as a year.
Well, will there be like a component or no?
I think so. The other districts that have done it, they did build it in after about a year of getting kind of like their spring, and they also built some other components. They had like the African step dance, they had different types of poetry groups, so they kind of expanded it to their demographics, and I think, you know, Burlingame House State Council can send it to that one for our students need.
In the sense of the second program, that's still students are both from online for the busy books and the also be there for and not the bad things and but also figuring
So is the question, if the students participate in all of them?
the question, I guess, is there a concern that students or parents will hold a lot of the portion of the funds to parents, so they're not necessarily considering or not necessarily
They definitely could. When I asked the other district how they explore that, it is voluntary, but they said that if you're primarily outreaching to students who are socioeconomically disadvantaged, sometimes that there is a bit of incentive to bring in parents and the tutor. You know, that's been something that our families have been working for, is that academic support.
Sorry, you're a state along the same question.
Oh, sure. The question was how it would affect if students or parents only paying for a certain segment of the program, and so they just paying for that for music instruction versus like the learning tutoring. I did ask the other district how they've been navigating that, which is voluntary, but we're serving our underserved community a lot of times, those are kind of thoughts in terms of it being like a full scope engagement program for the parents and the students.
And typically the parents aren't with the students when they start, they're kind of in a separate room.
Yeah, they would be together. Yeah, and it's all voluntary, so like, there would be a schedule, so the parents could see what the education piece would be that night. If it's not something that is applicable to them, or maybe something they already have under the belt, after the time, it's just more of getting the parents engaged and networking with each other, so they also have that sort of quality. In doing some of the affinity group work, we've noticed that certain groups don't have, they don't feel that their voices are as heard, they don't feel as comfortable asking for things. So like primarily for our Latino families, I know that they sometimes go to the office and don't feel comfortable asking if there's a language barrier. So even just building that network amongst the groups, so nobody asks, but they can be on for certain items.
What are they gonna do with parents? Parents don't speak English at all,
Yeah, so we have been exploring different types of, I don't know, different, translation for where we need great, we can kind of plan about it, just events, seeing how we can support, the English learner aspect of all of it is not Spanish, so we would, figure out how to get different, languages available for our different families.
Their programs about applying.
Yeah, correct, and we can do all types of different languages, like, there's different apps, so we'll just make sure that we have different components, and I think it's something that maybe, we roll it out and we think it's gonna be one thing, and as we kind of progress and then we figure out that, figuring it out, definitely accommodating influence.
What are some examples of the parent education that would exit into that endowment?
So it can be anything from like building an email to things, other school districts that they have like nutrition lawyers come in. It would also be like finding out what the parents need and what their concerns are. If it's registration help, once registration, becomes available. But definitely trying to accommodate as many requests in that same category as possible, as opposed to a one-off situation here, but figuring out what they need is possible.
Do you want a survey of parents, like after you cut them,
Yes, no, we definitely would survey them to see like what the wide variety of needs are, and if there's things that kind of fall within that are, there's more people that want specific things and we start there. But yeah, I think we can definitely accommodate our families and see what our different needs are. So there might be families who don't know what they need until we start the program, what they'll not be last day, or what they need until we start the program, so they can like absolutely a little flexible, but yeah, definitely surveying them. And I think doing progress checks throughout the program to see what we can do better and what they might not be necessarily advocating or vocalizing in the domains, if that might change throughout the time. Then we should do that. We're going to a lot of different networking events with people in some organizations with mine, and so we know our resource bank. For particular reason, but also the one that families that have a particular need, we can accommodate that, and if we don't have that resource, that we do it for other people.
And, I'm sorry, great questions. I have questions. Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to, quickly thank Marla. I remember a year ago when this program was just kind of a hypothesis in response to different board requests back. And I'm really impressed with the way you put actually good words and follow up on. So thank you very much.
I'm sure you guys know Marla has a lot of thoughts, and she's going that comes to fruition. Tomorrow, yeah, I will be there tomorrow. Well, I wasn't going to, but that's a great idea. I think we will. I'll take care of it. Great idea. Thank you guys, appreciate it. And I'm glad that the performance is not working in there. We anticipated 18 day, we will, graduation. So making 23, 24, that termination. Yeah, we
Good evening, board. This board item is to terminate the lease that restricted to the two couple of years ago for the move back for the EIS stimulation project. This notifies the contractor that he's not to be able and formal procedure to terminate.
I have questions. Anyone want to make a motion to it?
I'll move to the resolution.
Sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
60. And HCD annual and 5-year development.
Yeah, every year the district is required to present an annual report and a 5-year report. So this is the report that shows the status of our developer fees, shows our fund balance as well as revenue of the 5 years and expenditures. So we do the annual and 5-year because it's hard to keep track. The 5 years is only required every 5 years, but if we didn't do it.
I was just gonna, so it looks like we mostly just move this money into the bond funds and use it that way, so the bond program, is that correct?
No, the money is still in Fund 25.
Looking at the line item for the transfer of bond funds.
Oh, the transfers that occurred in those years, yes. So for the most part,
There are mechanisms for spending money for the top of that. There's not know how to use this money generally.
well, the funds to be used for new projects, new construction, kind of use for repair, so any project that takes a level of service that we have, including replacing portables if needed, and that nature.
Thank you.
Okay, 18 is the 2023 report about the device and the analyst stuff. This month for
Yeah, so this item is to approve a revised salary schedule for classified. Back in June of 2023, the board approved the 23-24 salary schedule, but that salary schedule for classified we included range 1 through 46. However, in December of 2022, the board approved a agreement with CFPA that included the fiscal analyst moving from confidential unit to CFPA, and at that time, they determined the range for fiscal analyst to be range 53. So this salary schedule is a correction. Assuming this is oversight that salary schedule presented to include the rest of the ratings. Oh, and also the include the job description correction as well, because back in December 2022, the job description that was attached still pointed to the confidential unit and confidential salary schedule, which should be corrected to now CFPA.
And the CFPA is aware that they're coming back.
right, yes, yeah, okay.
Yes, they are.
But anyone else see motions of the
All of the people,
all in favor? The feasibility contracts for the potential repair commissioning and price tax.
Great, thank you. We are bringing forward tonight a feasibility study contract, actually we're bringing forward 2 feasibility parcel. 2 contracts tonight, and we are being joined by Jeremy, who is the owner of, I want to get this correct because I got it wrong last time, Team Civic X, and Godby is not able to be here tonight. I'm not going to get it right ever, Jeremy, I swear. But Jeremy is here tonight on the call via Zoom. And Godby unfortunately is not able to make it. We thought he was going to be able to make it Zoom if we could type it right, but he's not able to be here tonight. We also have his contract attached along with Jeremy's, and Jeremy is here via Zoom, and we're bringing him forward to help us enter into a feasibility study with the excitement of looking at a parcel tax, a new parcel tax. So we're excited. We had 2 parents that ignited us looking to work together at entering into adding a parcel tax to our area. We've been talking about it for a while, and then they came and brought together a new excitement about being able to look at doing it during COVID, kind of to the back seat. Now we're kind of bring it forward again and look at it. So I'm excited to be entering into this partnership and look at it. So Jeremy, do you want to say anything or?
Yeah, thanks, Superintendent Silversmith. And
It's hard to hear you.
can you hear me better now? Is my audio any better now?
Push that button and it hurts to. Yeah.
Testing. Any better?
There you go. There we go. Perfect, Jeremy. Go ahead.
I can hear my voice echoing through the halls of the auditorium. Well, I'll keep it brief, and I appreciate you all giving us the time tonight. The two contracts before you, as Superintendent Silversmith mentioned, will help us kick off the important first step in a parcel tax renewal and increase exploration process, and that is the feasibility study to conduct independent research to help us understand what might be possible in terms of a dollar amount, sunset and other accountability provisions to be built into a measure, and then hopefully target placing a measure on the ballot next year. I'm sorry, I'm getting really technical feedback. Is that just me or is that for you as well?
You said great to us. Thank you.
Got it. And then the last thing I'll say is the reason there are two contracts, my contract is to help with the overall strategic direction and deciding what we might want to test in a poll and crafting the various messages and project components that would be included in a parcel tax. And then once we get the polling back, really taking the findings from that survey, helping you begin to tell your story in the community and send informational communications to all voters in the Burlingame School District, and also eventually write the measure itself that we would qualify for the ballot, calling the election that we decide to pursue. And Brian specifically is the pollster who conducts the scientific research to ensure that we are asking a representative sample of likely Burlingame School District voters what their likelihood of voting for a parcel tax renewal measure would be. It's two distinct roles and functions that we serve, which is why you see two different contracts here before you tonight. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, with the caveat I will say that I am having a little bit of trouble hearing folks. So I will do my absolute best to answer your questions, and thanks again for having me.
If we do have questions, then we'll use that microphone so we can hear really well.
If we do have any questions, well, it's not a question, I was gonna say it might be helpful for folks in the audience to very quickly kind of walk us through again what, maybe some of the kind of things but it's not a comment, or sorry, not a question, it's more of a comment. That might be helpful for people in the audience watching to feel about the timeline of events. If the board approves to release contract this evening, what the next step would be.
I'm sorry, you're asking what the next step would be after this contract approval. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for bearing with me. The next step would be to organize a meeting with district staff and potentially a subcommittee of board members to begin actually crafting the poll itself, so that we can kick off that feasibility process. And there's a few really important components that are included in a poll that we will want to review and discuss as a team. We will always have recommendations, but like to partner with the districts we work with to make sure, we're testing something that you would conceivably put on the ballot. So those various components are, first and foremost, the tax rate that we want to pursue. Also the tax structure. There's been discussions of converting your flat per parcel tax to a square footage based tax. That we would want to test in polling as well. And we'd also want to test first the various programs that could be funded by your parcel tax. And second, informational statements that voters might hear over the course of a campaign as to why they would support a measure. And then the flip side of that coin, statements they might hear from an opponent as to why they would vote no, so that we can get an honest assessment of what our chances for success are. So really the next step for us is to put our collective heads together and start working on the poll itself and that survey instrument to make sure that we are testing a measure that we think will meet your needs and has a good chance of success, but then B, testing the various components that are built into that measure to ensure we're getting as accurate and reliable as data back as possible.
Any other questions? No. Well, we do have, we do have some in-person and comments. And then after those, we continue our conversation until we're able to stay on for a bit.
I'm sorry, was that a question directed towards me? I'm really sorry.
We do have public comments this evening and both in person and email. And then we'll have a conversation. Will you be able to stay on with us for a bit?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. All right, we have our next topic in the meeting. Thank you. And Friday, we all have the document that you sent and we brought up. We have the whole thing. Yeah. Okay. And in just around a few minutes, but we'll conversation.
Let's use it that for our first presentation and microphones. And that's feedback. For the duration of the comment.
Okay, so 2 years, 32 students per classroom is 2 years. Keeping 32 students per classroom for another year so that we can waste time with a highly inaccurate survey that costs $40,000 is the wrong path. The correct path is to lower classroom sizes starting next year. And that means putting something on the ballot this spring. I've given you a few documents. The first one is a history of parcel taxes in Burlingame. You'll notice that at times we've had more than one parcel tax in place. In 2004, we were 3 places at the same time. You'll also notice if you look at nominal dollars, we haven't increased the tax in 2011. If you convert that into $2023, since 2014, it's about $78 due to inflation. If you convert that into FTEs, in 2014, we were budgeting 23.5 FTEs. Now we're barely funding this. Okay, switching gears, talk about polling inaccuracies. And why not waste time and poll? So first, on the back side of that first sheet, a graph pointing out both sampling errors and non-sampling errors in polling. And then I'm giving you 2 peer-reviewed journal articles. The first one on non-sampling errors and calculating total error in polling. The second on LIFER survey questions, which is typically the paper type in Burlingame School District polling. The reality, the summary, is that the sample sizes of 400, with the type of survey questions you're doing, this polling errors are plus minus 10% at least. Okay, the last slide. I put those 3 possibilities. And the first is added polling and delays. The second is a trustee initiative that simply restores the good inflation. It's conservative, it's justified, because it simply is the amount of inflation that's been shipped away. And it's entirely consistent with 49 parcel taxes San Antonio County that have passed in the last 15 years since 2/3 of importance. And then the third option would be just to finish collecting on citizenship. Reducing class sizes as soon as possible is essential to our community We should put it in place as soon as possible, either option 2 or 3 for public. Thank you.
Let's see. Turn it on. You're there. Put it back on.
Right?
Parcel, communities, contact number.
Oh, I'm sorry, but this, we do have a still.
That is correct.
Okay, the first one was submitted by Leslie and Brandon Taylor. Dear trustee. The trustees have declined office support of our citizen sponsored Burlingame Quality Education Protection Measure. Further, November 14th agenda, you instead are proposing to literally throw away money with a citizen poll instead of doing the right thing, shifting funds for lowering classroom size. Is there a reason the trustees aren't stepping up to do the right thing? Is there not a leader bold enough to recognize the negative impacts we are having on our children, teachers, and overall educational reputation for class sizes that are unequivocally too high? We implore you to consider your options. Place the measure on the non-ballot instrument. Such a measure would be a new tax that conservatively could merely adjust for all of the inflation that has occurred since measure L passed in 2014 for $78. An additional $78 for tax would raise an extra roughly $650,000 per year and can be used to reduce the number of classes at 32 students per teaching starting with the 24-25 school year. If you can't bring yourself to action and take another poll and place the measure on the March 5th, 24 ballot, that will lower classroom sizes starting in the 24-25 school year. The deadline to file is December 8th, 2023. On March 5th, 2024 measure could address the current classroom size problem, and the trustees polling and future measures could address extending the measure L expiration date and raising revenue for other priorities in the district. Can we please construct a better future for our students and teachers with you? Is that not what a trustee should be? Next comment submitted by animated people. Dear ESP trustee, please place a measure on the March 5th, 2024 ballot to lower Burlingame Elementary School class size. 32 students per classroom is way too many to optimally meet the educational needs of our young students. This should be addressed as soon as possible and not delayed until 2025. David and I would send our 2 children to Roseville, but he's closed when they were ready for elementary school. Instead, he sent them to Nueva, where the student-teacher ratio is 6:1. Willard and Square were there for 10 years and received an optimal education. Then they went to DHS, university, and graduate school. We invested early in their future and paid off. Smaller class size and increased student-teacher ratio are obvious ways to support our children during the foundational years of their lives. Did you know that California had 20.9 students per teacher compared to the national average of 15.5? Thank you for your consideration. Next, submitted by Vanessa Martin. Dear member Anderson, I am ready to express my concern about the 32 students per class in college at Arizona. We moved to Burlingame for the wonderful school district rather than move to a different district where we would need to send our kids to private school due to class. I believe that 2 years of classes with 32 students is too many. We need your support in the citizen sponsored measure for the new measure in the spring that addresses the 24-25 school year. Please don't become complacent and allow the quality of education to erode by justifying large classroom sizes for any more time. It's not fair to the children and it's not what the citizens want. Next submitted by David Benka. Hi there, I want to express my interest in immediate action to cut down the current 32 students per teacher ratio in classroom. It's crucial not to wait until 2025 to waste more time and resources on another low accuracy costly survey. Instead, let's get a proposition on the March 2024 ballot to ensure smaller class sizes by the upcoming school year. Thanks. Submitted via email by Sean Tweedy. Dear board members, I'm a parent of a Roosevelt student. Classroom sizes of 32 students per teacher should be reviewed ASAP and certainly before next school year. Don't delay to 2025, wasting many months of time with yet another expensive poor accuracy goal. Please put a measure on the March 5th, 2024 ballot that reduces class sizes by the next school year. Thank you. Submitted via email by Erica Liang. If the trustees insist upon doing it out of the poll, so be it, but it should be done in combination with placing a measure on the March 5th, 2024 ballot that will bring in additional funds starting with the 24-25 school year. The deadline to file is December 8th, 2023. A March 5th, 2024 measure can sooner address the need for additional funds, and the trustees' polling and future measures could address extending the measure of expiration date and raising revenue for other priorities in the district. Submitted via email by Leah D. Tulio and Eric Kang. Dear members of the board, as new parents, we decided to move to Burlingame because we heard the school were excellent and we have been very happy with Roosevelt Elementary for our kindergarten this year. But we are dismayed to learn that class sizes of the 32 students per class started in 4th grade. As youth librarians in San Francisco Public Library, we have worked with many educational organizations, and they all promote small class size and the individual attention that allows as a vitally important element in quality education. In order to maintain the excellent quality schools in which Burlingame prides itself, class size must be kept at 20 students per class. The citizen-sponsored Burlingame Quality Education Protection Measure, with exemption for seniors and people with disabilities, is an eminently reasonable solution. Rather than waste time and money with the poll, please put it on the March 5th, 2024 ballot without delay. Submitted via email by Tracy Alar. Hello, classroom sizes of 32 students per teacher should be reduced ASAP and certainly before next school year. Don't delay to 2025. We see many months of time and yet another expensive poor accuracy goal. Just put a measure on the March 5th, 2024 ballot that reduces class sizes by the next school year. Many of us moved to this community for the public school, but now I know many families that are getting frustrated. I worry if we don't quickly correct this, we will first lose families out of the school district, then businesses will quickly be next. Thank you. Submitted via email by Phyllis Chang. Dear committee, it has come to my attention that classroom sizes of 32 students per teacher should be reviewed ASAP and certainly for the next school year. Don't delay to 2025. We see many months of time with yet another expensive poor accuracy goal. Just put it in the March 5th, 2024 ballot that reduces class sizes by next school year. Thank you. Submitted via email by John Lee. To whom it may concern, classroom sizes of 32 students per teacher should be reduced as soon as possible and certainly before next school year. Please do not delay pushing these initiatives forward until 2025, foregoing many months to get results. I would sincerely urge the board to put a measure on the March 5th, 2024 ballot that reduces class sizes by next school year. Thank you for your consideration. Second to last. Submitted via email by Artie Benka. To whom it may concern, it's been brought to my attention the current state of classroom size. Classroom sizes of 32 students per teacher should be reduced ASAP and certainly before next school year. Don't delay to 2025. Just put a measure on the March 5th, 2024 ballot that reduces class sizes by next school year. Your consideration is appreciated. Last public comments submitted via email by Rachel Kim. Hello, we have 3 kids in the district of Roosevelt BIS. The large classroom sizes for grades 4 and 5 really need to be addressed sooner than later. These large class sizes of 32 students should be reduced at least before next school year, if not sooner. A poor accuracy goal is not only costly, but will also waste time. We'd like to see a measure on the March 5th, 2024 ballot to reduce class sizes by the next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, all the comments and questions, I did want to if it's okay, Marla, a lot of these comments from the main, here around 32 students. Would you be able to speak to that a little bit?
Sure. So, absolutely. So we currently have 32 students. Actually, we only have that at one school site. Let me pull some data. Okay. So currently district-wide, we have 16 fourth grade classes. Only 3 of those 16 classes within our district are even in the 30s. All of our other classes district-wide in fourth grade are in the 20s. Fifth grade, we have district-wide, we also have 16 classes. Only 4 of those 16 classes are in the 30s. Roosevelt is the only school site that is in 32. They have one class of 32 and one class of 33.
And can you a little bit about why that might happen?
Sure, absolutely. So it depends upon the student enrollment demographics, where students move, matriculation, family pattern, all of that. And so what we do is we watch that. We watch it really closely. We watch family, I'll tell you, our principals do it by part. They will say, Lisa has a little sister 2 years younger, David Layla, so I know that I'm having a 3rd grade bubble and a 1st grade bubble, and they know it very well. We work for the principals, actually, we'll start working with them, see if we get back whenever. We look at enrollment patterns, we have to watch our budget, because like here, with music, we know in TK, that with the expansion in TK, by law, we have to have, right now it's 24 to 2, so we go to 20 to 2 in a couple of years. That is a law mandated for staff. For lower class size, we have to have 24 to 1 in K through 2nd grade. In contract, we try to keep it to 23 to 1. Upper grades, we go 32 to 1. And what our CBA, our collective bargaining agreement with the Burlingame Education Association, so that the middle school BIS is 24.5. So those are the numbers that we try to get our staff ratios at. But what we do is we move staffing around. So right now we have some 4th grade classes at 22 learners. So we move staff where staff is. It would be not fiduciary sound of me or our district to add an extra teacher to have 4th grade classes to go down to 21 or 17 or something of that nature. So we would look at where we could make sense for numbers and to be able to make sure that we are keeping our neighborhood schools. The last thing we ever want to do are so we try and see what it looks like to be able to keep full classes full. So if we can go 64 and be able to keep that class at 64 and keep those kids within the other center and kindergarten, then that's what we would want to do. And then support that.
So that would mean 2 classes that have a little older close to the doesn't really have a split.
Right. So if we could get 32 and 32 and put those students together and then cap them. And then if new people come in, then we might overflow them, but another school might need a little bit more because they have a little over. And then we have to move kids around, not everyone wants to become the overflow school, so they might have to go to that school. So that's what we do. Right, absolutely.
I just wanted to.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then you want to make sure that, when we look at it, we also look at, a student that doesn't have to drive all the way across town and go to close school. There's a lot of things that are taken into account when we start moving on. And it literally started, and Maria and I are already talking about it. It starts now for us, and we start principal driving back and forth. But again, I just want to reiterate, 16 4th grade classes district-wide, only 3 district-wide in the 30s, 16 5th grade classes, only 4 in their 30s. The only classes at this point that we would say are full are at Roosevelt. And we also honor and review the inclusion. So every student at Roosevelt that is in the special day class has a student development class.
Renee, should we now, if we're gonna move into a conversation, about this and have questions, we should turn off and, mic or that's.
Yes, I'm going to use your personal eyes and then conversation. That's
Sure, yeah, just a couple of comments. I'm in favor of approving, the two contracts moving forward as we talked about in the last meeting. I want to acknowledge the comments that we have about class size, and I think, clearly there's a lot of concern about that, and I appreciate how you putting that into context for us, because we're talking about two classes at one school that's very small. And the Parcel tax initiative absolutely can provide funds to address class sizes, but it's broader than that. To support the district overall and all of our goals and all of the things that we're doing for the students. So I want to make sure that it's clear that this is a broader effort. And so I appreciate the context there. So I started laughing, but I want to thank the community and Brian, the folks that you've been talking to about this issue, because I think it pushed that move. It feels slow. It's not going to be on the ballot in March if we follow this path that is in front of us right now. I haven't voted yet, but it's pushed us to get there and to be more aggressive in terms of what we can do and how we can do structure the tax, the dollars, and the effort that everyone's going to be required to get it passed. So those are my thoughts.
I was just gonna make a comment, but I think I'm the only person on the board here who's worked with Jeremy before, and, did you work with him? Oh, 2021, okay. Mine is even older, but, yeah, and he's, great guy to work with, so. Yeah.
Well, I'll just say that, I was going to speak as naive, were very passionate and very reasonable points. And I do sense the challenge of, figuring this out exactly right. But my goal, the way I look at it as a leader for the trustee is, we're trying to figure out the right number we can raise this to. And whether that's 78, 178, 278, I don't know what that number is going to be. But we want to be able to get as much money as we can for the kids. And so the best way I think to do that, frustrated that takes a while, is to go forward polling so we can get the most money for it.
Jeremy, I know you've had this conversation with the governor, but I was wondering if you might be able to tell everyone what the running back comments were around this evening. Can you speak to the turnaround that would need to take place to even get on the ballot in March?
Yeah, happy to speak about that. So essentially, to qualify for the March ballot, given the date today and the Thanksgiving break next week, you'd essentially have to adopt a resolution calling a parcel tax measure election before that December 8th deadline, which means between now and whatever meeting you decided to do that at, which again would have to be before December 8th, you would need to retain legal counsel to actually craft the resolution itself and pull together the requisite documents needed to call an election. That includes a 75-word ballot question. It includes recitals explaining the rationale for the measure. It includes the full text of the measure itself, which would flesh out in greater detail what the funds would be spent for, but also the term, the tax rate, and the structure, as well as any cost of living adjustments you'd want to build in, a sunset, and accountability provisions. So essentially that work would need to happen from tonight until your next meeting. And then you'd have to basically as a board review that resolution at whatever meeting you deem necessary before the 8th, approve it, And then you would have to deliver that resolution first to the county superintendent of schools and also to the county registrar of voters, again, before that December 8th deadline to qualify for the ballot.
Great, thank you.
Great, thank you. I just want to sort of reiterate what Doug said. We have some really passionate community members too that really worked hard to put together this initiative, and it really pushed us to come back to the table and have this conversation and to move this forward again. And I understand that a lot of the community wants this to move faster, and I totally understand and am sensitive to that. For me, and I think I can speak on behalf of many of us here, we have to be judicious in the approach that we take to bring forward a parcel or bond for that matter. And part of the reason for that is that if a parcel goes forward and it doesn't pass, you cannot just go back immediately, willy-nilly with no plan and try to pass it on again. Members of the public remember and the negative connotation and just happen. So if it's judicious, it takes time, but it is, in my opinion, the right approach. And so I hope you'll still join us, Brian and John as well, in moving this forward and your passion and very inspiring, very motivated members of the public. And so it's been a really great, robust conversation. I personally would like to move it forward. This is a voting item, and we felt if there are any other questions or comments, I'm happy to make a motion to pick off this or pick off the vote. I'll make a motion to approve the feasibility study contracts for potential executive parcel path. Is there a second? Thank you, Sarah. All in favor? Okay, thank you. All right, Jeremy, thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to engaging with you to move this forward.
Thanks very much, and really appreciate your guys' flexibility with the remote Zoom difficulties, and I really look forward to working with you all. Hope you have a great night.
So then, Marla, I was going to ask if you and your staff had the opportunity to reach out to different schools that are concerned about class size, telling them what we do, if you had that opportunity to speak to them.
We've had spoken to some parents that have come forward to us, and we've talked about parcel and different items. We've also talked about overflow, and just so you know, when parents are overflowed and the position becomes open, we have a list we call them right away, and we do open back up and let them back in. We've also talked about different ideas around things that we can do. So we've been very open about different items. We have, as parents that have come forward, it seems to be it seems to be, and I want to say this something, so I want to go back to real quick since there's something for data that I was given. There is also a 4-5 comma. So I'm sorry, there was a comma. So there is 3 at Roosevelt that are at capacity. So I just want to reiterate so I wasn't sorry. So there are 3 at Roosevelt at capacity, but that is the only one. Excuse me for that. But so yes, we do talk to parents about the movement. We talk to parents every year about it. And we also have talked to parents about when they go back. I think one is when a student is a workload from like Washington to McKinley. Most of the time they want to stay there for a year, and then at the end of the year, we also say to them that they are welcome to stay if they want to stay at McKinley and they go to their homeschool or go back to Washington. And oftentimes we have parents, they don't want to stay there. So we have to have some conversations throughout the year. But with regards to this specific enrollment and where we're at this year with Parcel, we have not gone to the specific parents that keep emailing.
If that's a request of the board, we are more than happy to reach out.
I don't know if this is best so much as the things that the superintendent coffee with us, we had this PTA meeting, it seemed like it's coming from one side, and I'm just curious if people, you, the principal, last everyone had an opportunity to
Yeah,
discuss this issue.
We would be more than happy to meet with, and have a conversation. And go over there and talk about enrollment.
This class size.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can also talk about demographics, because we know as we're looking at demographics, it's a different thing next year.
Yeah.
So it moves every year, so we're happy to have conversations. We can go ahead and do that and follow up.
Thank you, Jeremy, thank you for your time. All right, moving on to item 20, human resources, 20A, variable for 2023, 2024, for economic for this, regarding
Maybe what it just to continue.
Can you? Good evening, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Dr. Schmidt, and the Burlingame community. I'm here to go over 3 items tonight. The first item is the waiver term waiver. The waiver of the document issued by the Commission on Teacher Credentialing to candidates who meet the criteria and a fully credentialed teacher is not available at this item. Each young person has applied for the waiver for the DLI position at Penn Elementary. She was issued a temporary county certificate by the county office, and this will allow her to teach until she issues the waiver. The I am requesting for the Board of Trustees to approve the waiver, so HRI can stay in position for the remainder of the June 2025 school year.
For 24 school year, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, but yes, for the 24, excuse me, for the 23-25 school year. 23-24 school year.
Okay, thank you for that question. Okay, I will take a motion to approve the variable term waiver. Thank you, Bob. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dan. All in favor?
Aye.
And item 20, the early education budget for certificate and classified staff for 2023-2024.
The early notification is then classified as certificated employees. The incentive will allow for the district to plan ahead and predict revenues for the 23-24 school year. I am requesting for the budget to approve the early incentive for the classified and certificated staff.
Normally, would anyone like to make a motion to approve early education? Thank you, Lauren. I'll second. All in favor? Thank you. And item 23, curriculum resource job description.
The last item, we're bringing forward. Tonight, the community resource position job description will be hired for the position. Before we can start the hiring process, the job description is to be approved, and I'm requesting for the Board of Trustees to approve the community resource position job.
Thank you, Sarah. And then second.
Second.
Thank you, Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
And public statements related to non-agenda.
Yes.
Okay, the first person is Lynn Watson.
Okay. So, I don't know if y'all remember me from a year ago, but, amazing things have happened since I was here last, and I just wanted to let you know about. This is a PC band version of the Force Roosevelt box. I brought a box band version a year ago, and there were just a few people playing with those at the time. But we've studied them, and some of us formed a little company to make these. And this one can do 400 CFM. And anybody hear it? I bet you can't even hear it from them. It's 10 or 20 decibels quieter than any converted price retail output doing 400 CFM, which is like the weight 600. And it's using less energy. So we discovered that the whole HEPA industry had kind of gone off the rails into a very inefficient operating point chasing purity. So this sort of DIY community has created something that can clean our kids' classroom air, eventually nationwide. We sold 3,000 of these. We have the school in the Bronx has raised thousands of dollars, putting them all in their elementary classroom. But we can do it, 2 or 3 times faster, quieter, less energy than what's generally on the market. This is a big deal because you put this in a classroom with only 3 ACH, like the typical American school, and it's immediately going to double your air changes per hour and cut infection in half, and that's about as good as having all the kids wear top masks. If you've got a better classroom that's a 6 ACH, like the general hospital standard, then you put 2 of these and you're still doubling it again and cutting risk in half. So I know the country isn't focused on COVID anymore, but it's still going around, it's still doing tremendous damage. There's an article in the New York Times yesterday about evidence of memory loss doubling in the young age groups, 10 to like 44-year-olds, from probably repeated COVID infections. I got infected in December. It took me several months to recover. I had some brain fog, other issues, and spent thousands of dollars going to the doctor. And I can, for that much money, I can donate these to all the Hoover, and better deal. So it's a really exciting tool. We are using it in some of my kids' classes. I hope there's chances to use more. Thank you.
Thank you. And
thank you for your time. My name is Angie Run. I'm the owner of my business in Burlingame. I don't know if any of you are familiar with us. We've been working with PTAs within the local school. We've been bringing math nights to schools like Roosevelt and Franklin. We are neighborhood a math only learning center for kids K 12 grade. And in the entire world, we have over 1,100 units. And in the past year or so, I've seen many kids suffering from learning loss from COVID pandemic. We've seen kids have learning loss of 1, 2, 3, 4, or even more years of math gap and knowledge gap. When the parents bring them to us, it's a really big bad gap that's going to take a lot of time for them to catch up. A lot of times it's suffering so much in their classroom because they could not understand the material. Some parents will come to us, some of them will hire a private tutor. The biggest issue with, hiring a tutor is that the student is not at the level of the classroom. So the teacher is teaching 20, 30, something number of students that they're not able to address the gap that we have. So we have a way to give a comprehensive assessment to find out where students are at. We meet with them at where they're at. Let's say if you in the 5th grade performing a 2nd grade math, we can actually go in and work with them on whatever that's missing in that group. The worst case scenario is when I see a high school kid coming to me, they're doing algebra 2 class, but they're performing at grade level. At that point, that's too late. They miss a window to really catch up when they're in elementary and middle school, when they're in high school. There's no way they can catch up like 5 or 6 years of math knowledge. So with our program, we can cover about 1 year curriculum between 4 to 6 months. So I hope that the board can consider an option for us to come to school and provide a service that the students who are in math. One of my colleagues, the owner of Math in San Bruno, has brought a solution to their school district, and they're working with 50 kids. And then the results have been pretty phenomenal. So I want to offer this to your school district as an option in after school. We can also do something program. Students can improve very quickly in as little as 20 missions, because we do an individualized learning session, and we can target the areas of students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And our last comment is, really actually, very comments from, thank you for coming in, and, we will also move to, move on to the,
It's a good one, I promise. You only have to listen to I was really interested in that music presentation. I really learned a lot. And I would love the opportunity before the end of the school year, Marla, to learn more about the gap you have in instrument supply with some potential solutions. I know we can definitely use some business available. So maybe by the end of the school year, a new presentation in terms of potential funding ideas for that problem. That would be important. I don't know. Yeah, the way that is given to us, I think entirely wrong, whether that's an update or another board state, whatever.
Not a problem. I see a big smile on the back of the room.
okay, do you have a, would it be, would it work to go on right now? Or,
I think it's more than them. Yeah, more than would be great.
So then one way. Then,
we talk dates around and just for dates, we have a conversation about that in Friday. I just want to be transparent. The superintendent multi-year plan needs to move out because we do not have our quick mat results back. However, we would like to schedule the quick mat results for December 6th. The board meeting on that night already, or a special board meeting, we'd like to make that quick mat results. No, I just want to take those components. And then we can do the multi-year plan on the back, but we don't pick that results based on the financials would be the important component for the multi-year plan.
okay, great.
December 6th. Okay, perfect. Just want to be transparent about that.
And then we'll get a follow up.
Yes, there's some and then you'll pull to do multi-year. Thank you.
Okay. And we're still going to be in January. We'll talk to us.
Thank you.
Okay, I am trying to do motions to adjourn. It will be great. Very happy. Thank you, Sarah. All in favor? All right, thank you.